ready to go again. I'll fix that up. Such a bother. Says it's...
Good morning.
Oh, we're on.
Good morning,
Happy
good morning
days.
everybody.
Happy days. We solved the problem. Good stuff.
Welcome Tuesday this week.
It is.
Here we are. We normally
Yes.
do this on a Monday morning, but
Change your schedule.
we shifted it about Tuesday. We're snuck up on you. Here we at Navigate Biz, where we talk about how to help you grow your business, improve your business, and make sure that you've got a much better business and a better life. And if you're thinking about starting a business, we can give you a few tips on how to do that the right way.
Indeed.
And
so you can grow and scale, right?
And
make an impact.
Save you a few pitfalls by sharing some of our pitfalls that we've had along the way. So today, what's our topic today?
Well, it's about the pros and cons of having an investor. I know I've had that, the benefit of that. You do that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I am that guy.
You are that guy, but I'm sure you've also potentially been on the receiving end as well.
Absolutely,
So I guess we've got a bit to share in a quick 10-15 minute live here today of, why would you get an investor, Nick Barnstorm?
Well, I think the really big point here is I want to speak to people that normally wouldn't consider having anyone else in their business. So really I'd like you to at least think about or consider what the opportunity might be to look at that, because so many people go, I've heard so many bad stories about having a partner in business, just headaches that go along with that, and that can be true.
Yes, true, absolutely.
I'm sure we've both had experiences where we've had good and bad business partners.
Indeed.
But actually, like with anything, if you're doing the due diligence and you go through and check the compatibility of that person and the credibility of that person,
what do they bring?
What can they add?
What are they bringing? Yeah.
What I want you to understand is it can be a massive accelerator to the success and the growth of your business. And it can also have a lot of personal benefits as well, from the fact of being able
sharing the load.
Yeah, have some downtime, share the load, someone to speak to around the business, someone that gets it, what's going on, because often that can be hard.
Yeah.
If you're in business and you're trying to relay to someone else your issues, often, like I know, if someone that I know is not on that same wavelength, they don't get it. I'm not going to share that information because I know it's a bloody complete waste of time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, why would you? Okay, one is resources. So we're talking about financial capital.
Yes.
Is a big one. If you're thinking about wanting to start a business, or you're in business and you need to scale up, whether that just be purely something as simple and basic as inventory, or it could be location, it could be more staff members.
Stock, people.
Bringing in someone that has some more financial capability can help accelerate that process, or at least make it happen, whereas otherwise inevitably probably won't. Also experience.
Yeah, what's their skills? What have they learned? What have they learned over the years? What do they bring?
Yeah.
And maybe it's going to fill a skill gap that you have.
Yeah.
So that's a really powerful thing, because doing business on your own is hard. Like business is hard regardless. But why not make it so that it's with somebody who can share the load, help build and grow, but also bring, you've also got to be honest with yourself. Well, what do you bring to the business, and where are the gaps?
Yeah.
So that maybe that person can fill those gaps, or part of them, or most of them.
But even if they don't have any particular skills in the industry or the type of business that you're in, if they've got some business experience, that can be really valuable to you as well. Like if they've been in business previously for decades, maybe they're a few years your senior, and they've got some other experiences, they can guide and mentor you as well as perhaps being an investor in that business. So that's a really important point. We spoke about sharing the load, having that sounding board, which obviously is what we do here at Navigate Biz, but that can be really helpful if you've got one within your own team.
Right in the business,
Yeah, so almost the chairman of your business, so to speak, which is kind of a role I often fulfill within the businesses that I invest in within my fund. Now, all of that sounds great, but what can go wrong is that if you get the match wrong. So what that means is that is this person compatible? Not the same as you, but compatible. That you can, someone that you can speak to multiple times a week, certainly multiple times a month, if not weekly. Someone that can be objective and honest with you, and vice versa.
Hold you each other to accountability.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But go through and do the checks. Is this person, is what you're seeing what you get? Is this person got the background that they're either purporting or that you believe them to have? So go through and do your own due diligence around that person. What business or businesses have they had in the past, if that's one of the skill sets you're looking to tap into as their experience. And if they've got, if you're talking about them being a financial investor, what financial capability have they got? If they're committing to a certain amount of dollars, is that real? Will that happen? Or is it you're getting some of it now and then maybe what you thought was going to come down the track doesn't? And do they have the capability to leverage up on that in the future? Now, that could be them putting more money in beyond what you're thinking. So if the business continues to go well and grows, then can they add more in? Or can they leverage their own position with a financial institution to the business then to be able to go and get the lending in its own right on the back of the previous successes of your business partner? So, but does all that exist? Is it real? Is it something that's been talked about and you haven't looked at? Or, can you go in and look at the previous history of this person? Now, how would you do that? You might go and Google the other businesses that they've been involved with, say they have. There's always a digital trail around someone's experience. What banks did that person have those other businesses with, and do you know people within those banks that have dealt with that person? That can verify, they did well. Not the nitty gritty, like they obviously won't relay that, but I know Fred, he had that business. So he had that for a long time. He exited out because of this, and he did really well through that process. That's information that you can get.
It's valuable, right? And something that I deeply believe as well, and we're fortunate we have this, is that aligned values. Why do they want to come into the business? And don't be blindsided, if you will, or get excited by the shiny toy of the capital coming, if that's what they bring. By the capital coming in, as you say, can they fulfill that opportunity? Where does it start? Where does it end? But do they genuinely want to be part of your business? If that's what you're looking for as part of this arrangement, it becomes a very difficult partnership, if you will, when you've got people who are at different ends of the scale of why they are here, what their purpose is, what their values are. It's the same as staff. Like, when you can have them aligned, it becomes a really rich relationship. And that's what you've got to be prepared for it to be, potentially, right? You want to be able to like this person and vice versa, that you can support one another. So all that nice, warm and fuzzy stuff is really super important, right? Super important.
Yeah.
Because potentially you're going to be working pretty closely.
Yeah, well,
possibly.
Like I say, several times per week or certainly per month. But, the test comes through when the chips are down, when things aren't going as you think. Is that person there in the trenches or are they running for the hills? And so trying to get that character assessment of someone, because in business you're definitely going to experience those difficult times. And is this person someone that's going to be able to pick you up, motivate you, come up with some ideas, work out how to work around this?
Come with solutions.
So just try and understand, what that character is going to be like through adversity, good times and bad. Also, there was a important point there around don't just get shiny-eyed around someone putting money in. Someone might say that, hey, they've got 50,000 or 500,000 or whatever it is to invest in your business. But are they actually going to come in and add something around the table? Are they prepared to at least have a monthly board meeting where it might be just you and yourself, or yourself and your partner and your accountant, and sit down and actually get some structure around the business. Are they going to be present? Now, I know as a private equity investor that many investors don't do that. For me, a really key thing is if I'm going to invest in a business, I want to understand what's going on. I want to be part of the overall strategy. I want to see those monthly reports.
You want to get your return on investment within the terms that you've agreed to, right?
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that the business is tracking along
Yeah.
where it expects to, and if not, how can you work together to get it back on track?
Yeah, and sometimes
achieve.
it's when relationships start to deteriorate, as with business partnerships and investor partnerships, that can happen. Often we sort of jump to, oh, this person hasn't done that, or that person hasn't done that. But can you look at what you've done? Have you provided enough information? Have you been open enough? Have you been collaborative enough around the strategy within the business? So think about what it is that you've brought to the table, what you've communicated to keep that relationship alive, because that's really important. It can get some really awful, terrible situations when a partnership doesn't go right.
Yeah.
So, plenty of great reasons to get into to have an investor in your business. Yes, there is some negative things that can happen.
But do the due diligence,
Yeah.
right? Do the
Go
research.
through, do the checks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure that you've got the right fit there.
Yeah.
There is plenty of people out there looking to place their money in great sound opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you have shaped your business and the trajectory of your business, that you've reduced the risk, you've understood the market, you've got a great marketing plan, you're confident with your selling and your promoting of the business.
Yeah.
And all of those things you can learn how to do in the Navigate Biz Bootcamp.
Because you need at the end of the Biz Bootcamp, you've got this amazing roadmap. So that's what your investor wants to see. Where is the business going? Who are your customers? What's the size of the opportunity?
Yeah.
So what sits underneath all of this, or maybe even at the top of it, is once all this due diligence is done, the plan has been relayed, and everybody's on board. For goodness sake, get an agreement in place so that all parties' requirements, terms are covered, and that there's actually something in that agreement that enables you to exit well, if it comes to that, if you choose to do that. So it's so important. Business is serious, so we speak about the seriousness of requiring a business plan and so on and so forth, but what sits overarching all of this with an investor, goodness, have a really sound agreement in place. I saw you just make
so I'll share with you exactly what I do at every business that I'm in, where there's always others involved. So we have a business will, which includes a buy-sell agreement. So when you go into partnership with someone else and they own some shares in the business, that doesn't necessarily you want to be in partnership with their spouse or whoever their next of kin is.
Exactly.
So having a business will in place, should something happen to either yourself or the other person, and that you've got a buy-sell agreement in terms of the shares, what happens at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I also highly recommend is make sure that you've got insurance in place that's owned by the business to enable you to purchase or the other person purchase your shares, or you purchase the other person's shares in that business should something unfortunate happen. So that's certainly something to consider. Very few people do it. It's something I do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure that you've got that in place, because otherwise you end up in business with the other person's spouse, and that might not be what you have planned.
No, and you want the business to succeed, and and the business partner, if something goes wrong, they want. You would think, if you've invested already, you want the business to continue. So you need to think about these things. This is just common sense stuff.
Yep.
It's really simple to put together. And again, Biz Bootcamp is where you're going to get all these foundational pieces so that you're ready for this investor when they come along.
Yeah, so come and jump on www.navigatebiz.com, NAVIG8BIZ.com, and go and sign up for that Biz Bootcamp. It's starting in a couple of weeks now.
15th of April, Friday.
So make sure you jump in and join us on that. You've got 8 weeks, 56 days of mentoring by myself and Joanne to either if you've started a business and you're looking to try and scale that and get sort of out of this initial startup phase and into a serious growth and maturity phase, Biz Bootcamp.
Yeah.
If you're in business and it's not going so well, perhaps you've been toiling away for 2 or 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and not only plateaued, but you're maybe pulling back and it's not going well at all, and you need to get yourself out of the hole, then Biz Bootcamp, come and join us. We will take you 56 days. We will make you sweat like any good boot camp, and we'll get your business turned around and growing and thriving.
Indeed. So see us there. All right.
That's
we're
it. Let's
gonna
wrap.
give it a
That's
wrap.
a wrap.
We will see you Thursday. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody.
See you.
Catch ya.